some ass.
Let's get our fucking shit together and kick some fucking ass!
Hey, what's up? Welcome to Kickin Ass with Jesse
and Andy.
Brought to you by American Barbell Club, Cured Nutrition, and Iron Coffee.
Yep.
As you said before, basically you're looking out for your workout needs, your anxiety, sleep, and
pain management
needs, and some coffee to kick you in the ass. Take your morning dump like I do, and then get you going for the day.
Yeah.
What did you say? This morning you drank two flat whites?
Yeah, 2 flat
by
whites.
Like it was like 11 a.m.
Yeah, I was up. I had PT, man. I had to get that shoulder moving, man. I had like a different person today too. It was real weird.
Was it
they
good?
did different, and he kind of like underhandedly talked shit about the woman I'd been working at.
Oh, yeah, that's always like a weird. Yeah, when you like bring up the other person.
Like, what did they have you do? Oh, I wouldn't have done that. Yeah. Like that, like legit happened like 4 different times. Like,
and then, like, what do you say to the guy? Like, oh, well, thanks, man. I guess I've been wasting my time. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
One thing, I could have hurt myself. Do you remember the other day when I was like doing that like stretch?
Yeah, behind the back.
Behind other way though, like where you have to put your arm, basically like behind your back. Like if I was a person that wore a bra.
Yeah.
And I had to take my bra off.
Oh, yeah, reaching over your...
No, it's back.
Oh, yeah.
Like behind, like by your hip.
Yeah.
You would go behind. And, like, the guy was just like, yeah, just get it back there. And, like, the thing is supposed to just hold you back there.
Uh-huh.
And then through time, it'll stretch enough where you just go higher and higher. It won't feel as pain. So, like, if it doesn't feel like you're getting a stretch, you're not getting a stretch. Mm-hmm. So you just pull just gently. I mean, this woman had me tugging.
Yeah, like...
And it hurt. Like, I was shaking in pain.
Yeah.
And, like, I have a pretty good pain tolerance, and that was, like, arguably one of the gnarliest things I've ever felt.
Yeah, you like, that whole, like, you know your own body thing. Like, you know when something's good and when something's bad.
On this, I mean, I'm listening to a person that knows that exercise.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing that exercise for the first fucking time.
When she's telling you to fucking pull as hard as you can.
It was wild, man.
Yeah, and then this dude's like, nah, just...
But he, like, that was another thing, too, is, like, they had this, like, weird pulley thing. She didn't have me do anything, like, over my head, which I thought was pretty strange. Like, I figured that, like, because, like, right now I'm in, like, the section of, like, you're not putting load on your shoulder at all. You're basically creating the... range of motion.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of just stretching exercises. Not a lot of like, let's get the muscle back.
Oh, let's put some weight on there, and it's just getting the motion in the ocean right now.
Yeah, and like so he had me do this like pulley thing, where like I had like a left and right handle, and there was like a pulley over my head.
Yep.
So like the left pulls my right up.
Oh, okay.
And like gets it to where I'm like, you know, stretching for the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's
like,
the big thing right now is getting your arm up over your head, right?
And like, you know, making sure my back is like flat against the wall when I do it and stuff like that. It was a wild, he had me do some wild stuff.
Which is cool. Like you said, it's different than what you were doing before.
And they had me do like wall stretches where like, you know, I'm using the wall to like climb up the wall to like stretch as far as I can to kind of like create that stretch instead of just putting my arm up over my head.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, then when we got to that like behind the back thing, he was just like, dude, you are pulling way too hard, man. Yeah. And I was like, I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Yeah. I thought this is like getting a stretch, right? Yeah. And he's like, no, man, just get it back there. Like it'll stretch on its own. Like that's why you do 3 sets or 10 sets of it. So you do 10 sets of 10 seconds. Yeah. And like, they all feel like shit. There's not one that's like, hey, it's easing. It's easing up.
Like sets 5 and 6. Like, okay, this is getting better. They all feel terrible.
They feel awful.
Yeah, which tells you something.
Yeah. And then I was doing the golf club thing the other day, like where I push on it. It's for like exterior rotation.
Okay.
Like lay on your back, you put something under your elbow, and then you like basically gently push thing. And like
almost like a rear delt kind of thing.
Almost, but you're not. You're just using your
shoulder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like you're just using the rotation of your shoulder, and like that one, like she had me just pushing, and then he was like, "No, man, like the handle has to be by your pocket, and you have to push from this angle because it's always 90 degrees."
Yeah.
It's like I know you can open your elbow up.
Uh-huh.
Like, we don't need to open the elbow up. We need to open the shoulder up.
Yeah,
so,
we're
like, blah,
just
blah.
focusing on the shoulder.
And I was like, cool, I've been doing it this way for 2 days.
Yeah.
Or actually for 5 days now.
Yeah. Like you said, when they were pretty much like secretly shit-talking
Yeah.
the person that was working with you before.
Yeah. And then the other confusing thing is, like, so right now, I think that, like, today is, like, first week. You know what I mean? Like, so if he's telling me, like, oh, in 3 weeks, you know, you can start putting a little bit of weight on, blah, blah, blah. Instead, he was just like, at 16 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just like, 1, 2, 3. I have to, like, then do the math of, like.
It's like 4 months.
I'm in week 12 now, so in 4 more weeks I can do this, or 3 more weeks. You know what I mean? Like, something like that. And it was like, oh, man, I don't want to, like, do the math on this. I just want to, like, just tell me when I can, like.
Just see how I feel.
Go, man.
Yeah, that's too much.
But whatever. I liked working with him more than I liked working with the chick. But
yeah, that's the good. I mean, like you said, you got some different.
There was an older woman named Diane, about 60.
Like I've gone to those places like PT or something like that for like my knees or shoulder or something. Like you're in there with like 80-year-old women, and then like you. It feels like, you know, shit you see like on YouTube videos or like movies. You think you're gonna be in there with like pro athletes, and it's like the exact opposite. And there's like elevator music playing in the background.
I won't look at the place. I look out the window the whole time.
Yeah, it's depressing as shit.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
But I did want to bring up the point too to get back to the sponsors kind of too, is like you said, since your shoulder surgery, you haven't used like any hardcore pain meds or just CBD oil.
I've used 3 Advils the entire time.
Yeah, which is bonkers.
Yeah.
From major shoulder surgery.
Yeah. And that's just like, honestly, like you want to know, like a hacker like came up to me at the last Smash show, and he was like, dude, I did that like cocktail that you told me to do. And it's like,
oh yeah, you did. He told me that
turmeric, coconut oil, collagen, hyaluronic acid. Basically like Josh Barnett, he's the one that like told me about this stuff. Like, and you know, glucosamine, MSM, like that cocktail right there. And then when you put CBD in it, you're just like never inflamed.
Yep.
Ever.
Yeah.
Everything is just moving nice.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And like you know, it's one of those things where it's over time. You know what I mean? It's not as drastic as pain meds, which is more instant but way more dangerous. That's the thing where like just over time you're going to notice, like a couple weeks are going to go by and you're like, oh my God, my knees don't feel like they did before. Like it just kind of happens.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's great.
Like I'm about to go on Warped Tour, and like that is the tour where like if you're going to get a wrench thrown in the works, it's going to be on that tour.
Yeah.
Which means like you're going to wake up in a different city, and it's just going to be a thunderstorm the entire day.
Yeah.
The next day is going to be dry heat. The next day is going to be like a humid heat. Like you're in like a different type of things. I'm talking like not even that, like sensory. You're constantly just at your senses are just blasting on full the entire time. You're around loud music constantly.
Yep.
You're smelling weird shit the entire time.
You're just around a lot of human beings.
Yeah. Sometimes it's light, sometimes it's dark. Like you're literally just blasting your senses. So like that anxiety at the end of the day is like, oh, like, you know, take a couple drops of CBD and then you're not even, you know, you're literally chilled. You lay
It'll just
down
help you handle everything.
Yeah. And think of it like that. I mean, you have to think that your body is an engine, right? And like there's days where you're just in idle the entire day. And those days are great. But then there's other days where you're just running at the highest RPMs. And like think of that at the end of the day. Think of where your brain is at the end of that day when like you're stressed out of your mind. You're physically drained. You're all this shit. You know what I mean? After a hard day of work, a hard day of working out, a hard day of travel, your sensory, I don't even know what that's called. Like you're
just like sensory overload. Pretty much.
You're just literally, and like to take that little bit of like edge off is wild. You know, it's so beneficial.
Yeah, and like we've said before, it's crazy to say, but
like
you were saying, when you're taking the edge off, like a lot of people will have like a glass of wine.
I want to say that. Like I don't mean that in the sense of like have a glass of wine or like smoke weed.
Yeah, because
it's totally different than that.
Yeah, it's weird to say, but you're not going to feel anything. Like you could take it in the middle of the day. It's not like you're not going to be able to drive a car in an hour or something.
This perfect example is this. Like just like your elbow, your knee, your hands, like all of it is muscle, like attached to muscle. Your brain is a muscle, and sometimes it gets inflamed. And that's what it is. So what CBD does, it takes the inflammation down, and it causes that part of your brain to not be inflamed, and then you act normal.
Those are the two big ones for me, were anxiety and sleep. It helps with those two immensely. Should we get to our Punisher for the podcast?
Yeah. Let's talk about this Punisher real quick. I just talked about how old I am and all the stuff that I have to do to keep my like old body going. I'm a crypt keeper at this point in time. So, I do all that stuff. Our guest today doesn't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, he probably doesn't need CBD at all.
Just turned 21.
Yeah, or the collagen cocktail. He doesn't need any of that shit.
Yeah.
He's 21 years old.
Let me just tell you this right now. Like, I don't know how much we talked about it on in the interview. He is extremely talented.
Yeah.
And like it's hard to like when you're interviewing someone, you don't want to like verbally suck on their dick.
Uh-huh.
Because like sometimes
I knew it wasn't going to be a long interview, so you don't want the whole interview to just be us putting him over the whole time.
Yeah,
it just sounds stupid.
Like this, and like I don't think I said it in the interview because it was a couple weeks back, but like dudes like that. Like him and Adam Cole, like early on, I don't think Adam Cole knew that like one day he was going to have $1 million in his bank. Yeah. And he doesn't probably still have $1 million in bank, but he has a blank check.
He's on the way.
And it's sitting it's sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, so our guest is MJF today.
Uh-huh.
And MJF, hopefully you're listening to this guy, but apparently this is his first interview where he wasn't in character the entire time.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up
and
too.
we kind of like wanted to make that a point.
Yes.
If you're listening to this, MJF, you have $1 million in the bank account that you cannot touch right now.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like like you say with Adam Cole and with him, like it's probably hard for them to see that at times.
Of course.
But I feel like it's like everybody else just knows it. Like it's gonna happen.
He is
just keep doing what you're doing. Keep getting better and better. And it's gonna happen.
Someone just said this to me, and it was amazing because we talked about it on the podcast or in the interview. I think it was like Blackwood or someone like that. Legit asked, like, "Is this dude a prick?
Yeah,
like, is he an actual asshole?"
Yeah, we did talk about this. Yeah,
and you're like, "No, he's not. He just understands his character to the fullest." And then in the interview, he like talks about how he walks into like locker rooms sometimes, and people just start giving him the cold shoulder because they think he's a dick. That guy.
Yeah, when I met him the first time was at MLW. He worked Nate Brody King.
Yeah,
and I thought the same thing. Like when he came up to me and said hello and stuff, it was just like, oh, this dude's nothing like his character whatsoever.
I don't know.
Like he's a young kid.
Because it's so funny because he comes up to you like the night before when we were in Napanee. He like comes up and he's like, "Hey, what's up, man? I'm Max. I'm a mark for your shit."
He did the same thing.
And
to
I
me.
was like, "Yeah, all right, cool, man." Like
I'm glad you brought this up because I almost forgot.
It was really funny how he said that.
It was really cool to see him like mark out for you.
Yeah,
he walked out of the House of Hardcore locker room. He's like, "You were talking to somebody,"
and he goes, "Andy Williams."
Yeah, because first he whispered to me, like he looked at me and he was like, "Is that Andy Williams?" I was like, "Yeah, man." And he like did his whole spiel with you, and then like when he left, like you started talking to somebody else. When he left, he like turned and looked at me, and he was like, "Wow," and he like walked away.
But this is how I explain it is like you see him, and you see the MJF character, and he's MJF. Yeah. And then that day it was like, "Hey man, I'm Max."
Yeah.
And like you see like Max.
Exactly.
And it like to me is like. Again, man, like he doesn't understand. Like, he has like a super good mind in general. I'm talking not.
He's very smart.
Not about wrestling just overall, he's just a very intelligent kid, and
he gets it. He did the same. Like literally, when I talked to him the first time, like the first thing he told me was we did kind of similar characters at CZW.
Yeah,
and he just told me, he's like, I was always a mark for your stuff at CZW, and like he literally told me the first time he met me, he almost shit his pants because he actually did have to take a shit, and I was in the bathroom, and he was like so excited to see me. He just like left the bathroom because he didn't want to shit with me in there or something. It's like, yeah, he's a good kid, man, and it was cool to sit down and talk. It was really cool of him not to do it in character for us, because like after the interactions I had with him, the interactions you had with him, I knew we could have a really good interview with him out of character.
And that's like I put it over in the interview, but I just want to say this now, like that class, and it sucks to put Joey Janela in that class, but I feel like they kind of all were feeding off each other so hard physically that they all became better wrestlers. Was like him, Ace Romero, it was MJF, Joey Janela, Leo Rush. They were all like this younger class. I guess like Connor Claxton would have been in there too. They were all literally iron sharpening iron at that CZW class with like Drew Gulak.
Okay, now I see what you're saying. Yeah,
and I know that like I know Drew didn't train MJF or whatever like that.
Yeah.
But when Drew was the coach over at CZW, they would do those dojo wars.
Yep.
And then all of those guys had the opportunity to go to those dojo wars, and it was like almost like working a show during the week.
Yeah, it was on a Wednesday
in front of not the biggest crowd, but you're in front of a crowd, and they had the opportunity.
When they first started, they were free, and just like 20, 30 people would show up sometimes.
And they had the opportunity to like do these matches in front of a crowd.
Yeah, and Gulak, I know Gulak would have them work on like character stuff, and like that's.
And then
to work every week, man, it's fucking great.
Yeah, and see like I remember just seeing like Ace and MJF, just like they had like a feud, and it was just unreal. Like every video you saw. And it's like Ace is a different kind. I would love to have Ace on the podcast.
Yeah.
Just a different kind of big kid.
Yeah.
That can move.
Yes.
Not like other dudes that size.
Yeah.
And like MJF and him had these matches that were just beautiful.
That's cool.
So yeah, like there's a lot of fortunate things that MJF had, and all those like, I guess like the Jersey, like the Northeast guys that were working at CZW at that time were all, like I said, our iron sharpening iron right there.
Yeah, now I see what you're saying by like that class of those guys in CZW.
They were all just super hungry and just going after it,
Yeah, for sure.
Well, let's do the interview. Hey. So here's our interview with MJF. Oh, what's up, guys? We're here with MJF.
That was an okay intro. I'll give it my best try here. Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're deaf, dumb, blind, stupid, or let's just assume poor, I am the youngest and fastest rising star in professional wrestling today, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. How's it going, guys?
What's up?
Going great.
All right, now that I got that out of the way.
Okay, we were just talking about your old Pee Wee Herman shoes, the Air Force Ones, and I want to say, did you notice he has like the original, those are like the old school shacks.
It's the Shack Attacks.
They're insane. Yesterday I saw those, and I was like, what is this kid doing?
I saw him sitting on the floor of the locker room, and I was like, holy shit, who has the shacks? And then like they're pumps.
Yeah, it's funny because
and then a 21-year-old has them.
people my age are like, what the fuck are those? Like, those look so silly. And then like my other peers that are older in the locker rooms are like, yo, sick pumps, bro. I'm like, thank you.
I guess those were like $200 sneakers before like $200 sneakers were like a thing. Yeah, exactly.
That's like, it's kind of funny because we train with, I don't know, like he trains. I'm a 40-year-old.
Okay.
Mind you. I'm 3 years in, and I'm 40.
I'm 38, and we hang out with a lot of like 20-year-olds.
19, 21.
Yeah.
And like you, honestly, I mean, you give the intro, but like it's really true. Like you are one of the fastest riders. It's fucking wild. And you just said something that was kind of like wild, where it's like you live this weird life where like the middle ground doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's like you have peers that are the same age as you, and then there's only peers that are way older.
It's what I've noticed, and what I honestly love about this is I get to meet people of all walks of life that I would have never met if I didn't do this.
Yeah.
And also, like, I was always told, like, oh, you got an old soul for your age, whatever. And I was never really to relate all that well with people, like, in my age group.
Of course.
So now, like, all of my best friends are, like, 35, like, 30. Like, it's true, though. It really is. Yeah. Like, I'm on the phone with, like, Stokely Hathaway most days. He's, like, fucking, like, mid-30s. Like, so it's crazy. Yeah.
But that's for people to say. I feel like that people saying like you have like an old soul like attitude. Like I feel like it has a lot to do with like I just think it's really fucking cool how you're traveling so much at 21 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, because like a lot of people your age aren't. That's because I feel like that's where maturity comes with is traveling and responsibility and all that kind of stuff. So like, because you were saying yesterday you've been to the UK, right?
I was just over there like 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
How long was your loop?
I was there for 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just shit like that. And, just the amount of even just traveling on the Indies in the U.S. you've been doing. I feel like that's what gives you the.
I appreciate
most of
that.
your friends your age.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Probably don't even leave their hometown.
I think it's a matter of wanting it too. And
100%.
I don't know how much of an age thing it is because I not to make you feel like old or whatever, but like I was a huge fucking fan of your shit, Pepper Parks, and then when you came in CCW, you did the stuff with Black G's, TV Ready, like all that stuff's sick. But obviously, at a young age, you did that. You did the traveling in fucking early 2000s, and you drove. But like at the end of the day, there's so many people that are like, why aren't I doing anything? Why aren't I getting anywhere? Why is this guy doing this? It's not fucking rocket science.
No,
just drive.
Exactly.
Get in your car.
And also, don't wait. I can already tell. Like, don't wait for it to come to you.
No.
That's exactly what you're going out and getting it yourself.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Because the people that are doing that, like, why is this taking so long? And da-da-da-da-da. It's like, because you're waiting for opportunities to come to you, man. Like, if you know guys that are going to a show, jump in the car with them and go and meet some people and maybe get on the show and whatever.
And you could be in your area, you could be freaking amazing. You might be the best wrestler in the world, but guess what?
In your area.
Or you might be that good, but nobody's going to find out because you're just staying there.
Exactly. I'm not going to get into myself, but I realized I was doing that for a number of years, and I was like, I got to travel more.
Sure.
Like, sure, I'm great in this area, but nobody knows or gives a fuck. So you got to get out there. Now, where are you from?
I'm from Long Island, New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What part?
Plainview.
Okay.
I don't know if that means anything to anybody listening to this.
I just know Straight from the Path, and they're from Monroe County.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how far that is.
Not crazy far at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because even like I know you were living in Dayton, now you live in Illinois.
Yep.
And where did you train?
So Kurt Hawkins and Pat Buck are my trainers. I actually.
Oh boy.
There you go.
Yeah.
I have the school tattoo.
Creative Pro tattoo.
Yeah. And the thing was, people like, when I did this, like I had mad calls. People were like, are you nuts? Why'd you do that? Here's the thing. Let's say tomorrow, me, Kurt Hawkins, and Pat Buck have a gigantic falling out, right? This is knock on wood.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for that school, no matter where I go in this industry. So to me, that's where it all started.
It's never going to, exactly.
It's never not going to be
And that's
cool.
never going to change.
Exactly.
You're never going to go back in time and get trained somewhere else.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's on a good part of your body where it's not like it's on your wrist or
No.
something. You know what I mean?
And my thing is, I have like, not a lot of tattoos, but I just want to make sure that nobody can see, because of the gimmick.
Yeah.
I feel like with my character, why would my aristocrat, like douchey
give
character have
respect.
like a sleeve? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But
Or give respect to his school. Like,
exactly.
Like my character be like Kurt Hawkins who? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did this all myself.
Yeah.
That's badass, man. I love it. I was going to ask you about, I was going to say, like the experiences, like you're like, like stuff you got into like last night, and like it's, just being.
Am I allowed to talk about that? When
Yes,
I
I mean, 100%.
Okay, so can I not get a job at WWE if I talk about the story? I don't know how this works.
Let's not get too hardcore, but
All right.
people basically.
Let's just. I'll sum it up. He hung out at a biker bar. Like, He hung out with a biker gang last night at a
All right,
biker
whatever.
bar.
I'll get into it. So
You should keep a few things out.
I
But
will.
you should definitely talk about what biker bars are about.
Sure.
What bikers like at 21 years old. I'm gonna say this. So being 40 years old.
Yeah.
My band started when I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
That's still going today, and I've been through every single possible situation I think you could possibly be in
Okay.
20 years.
Sick.
So it's like there's a point in time in your early life where you can't say no too many times.
Yeah.
Because it might never happen again.
Yeah.
And
when
you want
else
to live
would I ever
through
have that opportunity?
Yes.
Yeah. And that was my thing is also my biggest thing is I'm 3 years in. I've been in here for a hiccup. If Kenny Dykstra goes, hey man, we need somebody to drive. Who am I to be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's not a shot. So when you throw the keys my way, I'm going to drive the car.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
where do you guys want to go? Okay,
yeah.
let's go.
And what had occurred was we went out to this really sweet, like half barber, half like bar thing. It was
Our restaurant.
It was really cool. And we had met like a couple nice gentlemen in cool leather jackets,
vests, yeah.
in vests, and Robbie E took a liking to him, and got one of their numbers. And we got back to the hotel, and out of nowhere, Robbie E goes, "How about we go to that biker place
2 in the morning.
At 3 a.m. actually." And all of us go, and as we're going, Robbie goes, and he grabs his phone and calls the guy.
Made it happen.
Hey, we're coming through. So now I feel like we have to go, right?
Yeah.
We don't
This started
want to
at
be
the-
rude to these guys.
This started at the after party.
Yes.
Yes. So at the after party, they all went to. It wasn't a bar. It was like a. What was it? Did you guys go to a bar?
It was like a barber.
Barber
Okay.
restaurant.
Yeah, I got my hair cut and I had like 2 glasses of wine. It was great. Yeah.
Of course, you drink wine.
Because
That's what you
like
want.
this story from like another dimension was like I was at the same bar gimmick after show party, and then like brother came around to us like 3 times, like, hey guys, with his vest on, nice to meet you guys, see you later. Like, all right, man. And then on the way out, he slapped me up and kind of pulled me in close and was like, y'all want to come to our clubhouse?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, not at all. I'm gonna go back to the hotel.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I saw he wasn't going and Alex wasn't going and RJ wasn't going, I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Right? Because to me, those are the most level-headed guys out of the crew, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, So I go, and it's me, Willie Mack, Spirit Squad, and Robbie.
Yeah.
So we walk in, and these 2 very scary gentlemen open the door, and I'm going like, oh man, like this was a big mistake right away, right? And then they gave me this big hug, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be okay.
I feel good.
I'm gonna. This is a good place.
Yeah.
We go upstairs.
They did ask you to come.
Yeah, we go upstairs. There's like good music playing, not even like music I would listen to in my car,
Yeah.
And we sit down, we're having fun. Me and Willie Mack are sitting, we're shooting the shit, and Robbie E's talking, chilling to some people. Spirit Squad's chilling, talking to some people, and I'm having fun. I'm talking to the barkeep there for them, and out of nowhere, I look to my left. And there is a gigantic Nazi symbol. And
Like straight out of a movie.
Yeah. Just in case you guys can't tell based off of my name, I'm a little Jewish.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And Willie Mack's just a little bit black. So I do like a Scooby-Doo style gulp, and I put my head down. And then the scariest thing in my lifetime ever occurs. And I've seen some shit in my short period of time on this planet. And there's a guy that's right behind Willie Mack and mouths, "What the F?" to the barkeep aggressively.
Oh, I didn't hear this. Yeah.
And the barkeep was like, mouths, "Don't worry about it."
He's cool.
He's one of the cool ones, essentially, is what he was saying.
Yeah.
And at that very moment, I have a Star of David tattoo on my arm. So I crossed my arms the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And me and Willie, once we saw the Nazi symbol, we get home. We actually room with each other at the hotel. We get to the hotel. Both of us, when we close the door, just go,
Everything turned out okay.
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Early on, I used to do merch for a band called Buried Alive, like this old hardcore band. And I was probably 18, 19 years old, and like the band were like older dudes. So like, well, Vogel was probably like, if I was 18, Vogel was probably like 26.
He was like a little older.
Yeah, and like the other dudes were kind of just maybe like a year or 2 older than I was or whatever. But like me being like the merch guy and the biggest guy, they're all vegan and whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it would just be like, hey, go get the money. And I'd be like, okay. And usually it's just like, I'm dealing with like a hardcore kid.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey, bah, you guys are guaranteed this, bah. It's just like this. You know what I mean? Like, or a guy will hand you money or whatever. So we played this one weird show. The band that we like, at the time we were on tour with this band called All Out War from like Poughkeepsie area. They had booked this show, but they had to go home because they had like something happened in one of the dudes' families and they had to like go home. So like we don't know the promoter. When we get there, the promoter's like this crazy, weird, like goth death metal dude named Sonny. I'll never forget it the rest of my life. And he was wearing like a long leather duster, bald head, had those like fucked up like little pupil contacts in.
Yeah.
And I go up to him and I'm like, hey, no, Vogel comes up to me and goes, yo, go get the money. And I'm just like, today
Maybe
like,
you this time.
Yeah. So I go up and I'm like, hey man, so I collect the money for Buried Alive. Can we get our money? And he goes, well, you guys sold 5 tickets, so here's $25. And we're in like Nashville or Memphis, and I was like, we're guaranteed 150.
Yeah.
So I go back to Vogel. I'm like, we got $25. The guy said we didn't sell tickets. He's like, we're guaranteed 150. Go get it. And I'm like, okay. So like, I'm a child, you know what I mean, at that time. So I walk up to this guy, and I'm like, I remember like, I was like, well, do I act like a peacock? Do I like whatever? And I just walked up and I like literally going by like movies, you know, in my head, like this is how like this guy would, like Van Damme would do it this way. And like, I walk up, puff the chest up, man, smack the bar. I'm like, we're owed $150. Give us $150 now. Yeah. And he goes, well, we're going to have to talk about this upstairs. And I get upstairs, and it was like this. It's very similar. Where like I get upstairs, and there's like, dude, it sounds, and I'm sure this is probably in my mind, embellished over the years of becoming like that first like scary moment. But like, Sonny also managed a strip club across the street, and strip clubs have really scary bouncers. There's 2 of them upstairs, partying with a girl, doing drugs I've never seen before that are in lines on the bar. And I walk in and I'm like, oh man, this is straight out of a movie. And these dudes are standing there and they're like, I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me now. And Sonny's like, okay, let's talk. And I'm like, yeah, so you still owe me $125. Like, well, on. And then I'm sitting there and the guys kind of approach me like in a not savory way, not like they're gonna come up and hug me like your thing.
They were nice Nazi bikers as far as Nazi bikers go.
You
know what I mean? If you had to rank them, they're up there.
Kind of nice.
Yeah.
Sonny wasn't nice, I don't think. So I was like, here we go again, man. What do I do? Like, I just have to put my feathers up, act like a peacock, and It's like, you owe me $125. Pay up now. Said something like that. And the guy's like, okay, man, geez, settle down. And I was like, oh, this didn't go the way I thought it was going to talk. I thought this guy was going to kick my fucking head in.
I just want to give you a beer, man. Why are you yelling at me?
That was literally it.
That's awesome.
He asked me if I wanted to like smoke a joint or something. I was like, I don't smoke. And then I turn into like, I go from like the hardest guy to like the biggest pussy ever. So I don't drink.
I will end your life. Do you want a beer? It's not me.
I'm 18, man. I'm not even of age. So he just gives me $125 and like sends me on my way. And I remember like just like you did, like close the door and I was like, mommy. Yeah, I'm a suburban kid. Like, where's the mall? I love it. Yeah. But I'm also fortunate enough to look like a Nazi biker.
Sure. Sure.
So but I'm not.
What was Max? What was the tweet you put up about Blackwood that you were real proud of?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
So one of his students, who's really like coming up in the ranks now, like pretty quick.
Really
he's awesome. The first time I ever saw him was he was debuting for this promotion called Limitless Wrestling. It's an awesome promotion out in Maine. And I didn't know it for a hole in the wall. So I just quote tweeted and I go, oh, sick. They're debuting a guy who has Sharpie all over his left arm.
Did he take it to heart?
Exactly.
He said he was cool with it, but I think he cried. I don't know.
He takes everything to heart.
Inside, he might have.
He was probably like, oh, MJF's an asshole. He made fun of my black arm.
I will say this, and it pops me huge. Before people get to meet me, which I guess is a testament. I think it must mean I'm doing the character
I know
okay.
where you're going with this,
Yeah. People think I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know. Maybe you might have thought I was before we first met. Maybe you thought I was like an entitled little prick. I have no idea.
I'll say for me, I didn't like. I didn't think you were going to be an asshole.
Yeah.
But like, your real personality is way different from your gimmick, which is like you said, it's a good compliment.
Yeah. And it just pops me huge. Like, I'll be in locker rooms with guys and they'll be like talking shit about me before they even meet me. And then they'll meet me and then I'll hear through the grapevine they were like, oh my God, that kid's like like
so weird.
cool. Like I don't understand.
It's so weird.
But you got him. That's like,
And that's what it pops me, but it also frustrates me. It's like you should get it. If anybody should get it, it's you. You're a
That's
wrestler.
not your fault. That's
Yeah.
their fault. You know, the Undertaker's also a really nice guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, like, come on, man. Like,
it was
funny.
great. Hannah doesn't know, like my girlfriend Hannah doesn't know. Like she's like learning wrestling now,
Sure.
like through me.
I'm sorry you have to go through this, by the way. It's the worst.
Yesterday, it's
Yeah.
like I can just tell her, I'm like, this guy's great. Like,
Yeah.
just watch. And it's so funny because like Alex's music came on and it goes forever.
Forever. It's the best.
And then he comes out and he looks like an arrogant prick. And then you come out and then the first thing you do is like slap a dude's hat off.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is great. Yeah. And like immediately she's like, he comes out in a Burberry like scarf.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is he? I'm just like, he's supposed to be like better than you. Like that's yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah. But it like, dude, like it's crazy because everywhere I go, and I travel all over the world, and everywhere I go, people want to talk wrestling.
Yeah.
And your name comes up no matter where I am.
Oh, that means a lot.
That I'm talking like anywhere in the world.
When I had found out that I think you ran a show, right?
Yeah.
I marked out huge. I had no idea, and I didn't know like who to contact for it or anything. But Joey was telling me that it was the funnest thing ever. Janela.
Yeah, Joey killed.
Going back to what you said about like getting a car and driving.
Yeah.
Joey should be. I mean, anyone that has anything negative to say about Joey should also put him in the same regards as like, well, I'm gonna do what he does.
Yeah.
He works harder than anybody.
Dude. Yeah. Okay, here's the thing, and I'll say it too, Joey. He's a little bit brain dead. He's a little bit reckless.
Yeah.
But I can't think of all that many people that work harder than him.
Yeah.
No.
He works his ass off, dude.
And like he rewrote how to get over.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
With Giancarlo.
Legitimately, well, first of all, Giancarlo really helped out my career early on as well.
Of course.
But I will say this, like, legitimately, all I would hear about in every single place I went to, or from every single veteran that would pull me to the side and talk to me, they'd say, here's all the things you shouldn't do as a wrestler. Joey does all those things.
Yep, and gets over.
To the extreme.
Yep.
And gets over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's you're just exactly. You're just
It's incredible.
Yeah, he is. I mean, honestly, like as a, my band is like known for just hard work.
Yeah.
And that's like
Sure.
It's like every single band you meet, it's just
Yeah.
like, oh, we don't work as hard as them.
Yeah.
And then there's us. We're like all sitting over in the corner, just like we haven't slept because we just drove 9 hours. People are in buses or whatever like that, and it's like I can do whatever I want because I don't do that.
Exactly.
And people see that and they're like, shit, maybe we should not take a bus. Maybe we'll make money on this tour.
Dude,
and it's like, yeah, like, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's
go
what
ahead, take your bus.
What blows my mind is people will look at all three of our jobs.
Yeah.
And they'll go like, they don't have to work as hard as me. I have to. I'm 9 to 5. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. It's like, no, man. Like, this is real hard. This is real hard, dude.
I always think like, I mean, for all of us, like a lot of what our job is and what the actual work part is the traveling. You know what I mean? It's like when he gets to play on stage, or like when we get to perform in the ring, like that's the best part.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I mean, that's if we're in the ring, it's 10, 15 minutes maybe.
You're driving
sometimes.
or going on a flight for God knows how many hours just to be in the ring for fucking 8 minutes.
Or in a car,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
When
Or
I started
on
when I
stage.
started doing both.
Yeah.
I was like, people are like, yo, how's the wrestling on your body? Like, you're kind of like old. And I'm like, I do it for 12 minutes.
Yeah.
I play for an hour and 10 minutes when I play with the band, and I'm running around way more than I run around in a ring.
Yep.
I would rather, if I could get paid what I got paid for the band in the ring, absolutely. Like, kill me. Like, honestly, like, try to decapitate me in the ring, because I'd rather do that for 12 minutes than run around on stage for 10 minutes and then hop in a van for 9.
You're picking up one hell of a buzz, so I don't think that'll be an issue.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Once you're all healed up, you know.
Yeah. But that's like, Max was like super nervous to do this without being in character.
So frightening.
So think of,
I'm still shaking.
think of that though. Like you have to uphold that constantly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's really cool to keep that veil
Yeah.
and have that.
I believe in it. I'm breaking every rule I believe in because I love this man so much. But,
but what I'm saying is like right now you think you are, but at the same time, it's super rad that like you're giving that like little inside scoop on it.
Sure. Well, everyone that's listening to this, you still know that I don't like you.
Yeah.
I don't like you at all.
That hasn't changed.
Yeah, that hasn't changed one bit. I'm still better than you.
Yeah. Not so much as follow my stuff more.
Yeah. But in all sincerity, I think that's what I fell in love with wrestling. It was never the moves. I never gave a shit. And all my friends would be like, Canadian Destroyer. I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I loved? I loved like this, just the stupid, crazy angles.
Yeah, the storytelling.
The best.
Yeah.
And that's why I can watch Piper all day long.
Yeah.
I can watch old Tully Blanchard promos. Do you know Eddie Gilbert, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert?
Of course.
Hours.
One of my all-time favorite.
Hours, right? And when I say, it's sad when I say some of those names, head scratching from like people my age, you know?
Yeah.
But it's put me in a good spot, I feel. I personally feel that the reason why I've been very blessed so far in the industry is because I'm one of the few people in my age group that gives a shit about this.
Yes.
That cares about a
It
character.
almost makes
For
it
sure.
different, which is strange.
Because nothing gets me off more, even almost to a sexual level, than going out there and people viscerally hating my guts. It's the best. You know, man. It's the best.
Well, like yesterday, yesterday you were in like a 3-man with Willie Mack and Alex Reynolds.
Yeah.
And dude, like that, right now you're getting out of the 3 probably the most attention out of the 3 of them, right? Yeah. I'm saying like on a global level.
Sure.
Alex Reynolds is one of the most underrated.
He's incredible.
He's incredible.
He had a big hand in training me.
Dude, he's incredible, man.
Yeah.
And like yesterday, you didn't do anything.
No.
Like in that match, you barely did anything. But like everything you did was perfect. As in like when you were talking about like story wise, like everything was like
I appreciate
right.
that.
You know what I mean? And Alex had to take bumps and stuff like that, which is great though.
Yes.
You know, but that like the whole time, like that 3-way was like, I was like emotionally invested in it because of the way you guys like played off each other. And then the whole spot with the blow off between you two was great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like hokey, but like to the point where like you were wrestling in Napanee and like everyone ate that completely up.
It was
and
cool.
like that's the type of shit that like you said, like that's the type of stuff I love is like
and they're few and far in between now.
Of course.
It's crazy.
Well, that was like my funny thing. Now that I'm injured, like my thing was like I wanted to come out with him.
Yeah.
And then literally just because no one does it anymore, I wanted to start throwing fireballs at people's faces.
On your sling?
Out of my, like wearing my sling and then, you know, like
Jerry
hot stuff.
Lawler style?
Yeah.
Please,
Hot stuff,
yes.
yeah. And like, so then it was just like, God, like as soon as I got injured, it was just like, okay, well, I had to like cancel a bunch of like stuff.
Okay.
And then I was like, damn it. Like, which always meant like him and I both didn't get booked.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think Bull James was like the only one that booked us. And then they ended up switching my like surgery. So I actually got to wrestle. But I was going to throw a fireball in like Mike Verna's face that day. That's what I wanted to do.
Another thing, managing wise, that's another thing that's lost too, right?
Oh, yeah.
How many like legit good managers are there?
managers,
like Stokely, as far as the indies go.
Yeah.
And damn, seriously, like think about it. Really think about it.
Yeah.
And think about like in the '80s, everyone had a manager.
Everyone.
It was nuts.
yeah. I mean, like-
everyone and their mom had a
And
manager.
and they were all like Bobby Heenan, Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
Like, they were all legit. Like,
not throwaways.
Main characters.
They helped.
They did.
The story.
They would build new stars. So like you would have, it would be the best. So like let's say you have a guy like Blackwood. I think is a great example.
Yeah.
Let's say he's newer on the scene, and you threw him an established manager back in the '80s. Now he's a star.
Yeah.
Because he's with Bobby Heenan, or because he's with that's a cool little thing that we can't do anymore.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah.
But
I almost like this is weird. My brain goes here, but like I feel like it's hard for people to get booked on indies as just a manager because like. You know, money is such a problem. It's like no one wants to pay a dude just to be a manager.
just to talk.
Yeah.
But they don't realize the how much it can help a match.
Oh my God.
Just like how much a bad ref could kill a match or how much a good ref can help a match. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
The amount of time, this is my biggest pet peeve, and you might agree with me here, you might not. The cadence and a count.
Yes.
Makes a big difference, right?
Yeah.
So if I hit this fucking crazy move and they're, oh shit, and I cover them and they think I'm about to steal the win. What? By the time he kicks out at 2.5, it doesn't mean shit.
Sense. Yeah.
I've had matches where like
You had one yesterday.
I'm like falsies like aren't getting the reaction I expected. I'm like, oh man,
It's not on you.
And then I've gone back and watched tape and be like, oh, it's the fucking referee. Like his count sucks.
And fans don't think about that.
Yeah, they don't know. They don't notice it, but they do subconsciously.
Subconsciously they do. Just like they don't. Yeah, there's a lot of things they don't realize.
Just like a pet peeve of mine is like when there's a manager at ringside and they don't use them
There's
at
no
all.
point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, they just do this like
But that happens.
X Division style match and completely forget that there's another person.
Yeah, you utilize him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
or a lot of times
single-
because it's like a girl.
All
Yeah,
three
just
of
like,
us
Oh, she
have-
doesn't know anything about wrestling. She just looks good. So she's gonna just stand there.
She's real pretty.
Yeah.
All three of us have seen that though, where like a dude comes out and then the match ends and you're like, what was that other?
Yeah,
dude
why were you
for?
there?
Why was that guy there?
Even Baby Doll would get involved in matches, and she didn't know what was
She's not a
going
wrestler,
on.
no.
Like, she had no
Yeah.
fucking idea what was going on.
Just grab a foot or something.
Yeah,
Like, choke
that's
him-
it. Yeah,
choke him on the ropes.
Something.
Like, I don't-
Something.
Yeah, please, man. It's I'm with you on that one. Should we wrap it up?
Sure.
Yeah, we did some good time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, we also know the guys that book that wrestling show at the end of the year.
Yeah?
There's 2 shows and there's
Okay.
already 3,000 tickets sold for one.
Okay.
So we can. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. We'll give you their contact.
All right. I mean, just let those schmucks know I'm really expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope they know what they're getting themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, dude. This is sweet.
All right. Well, that was the interview with MJF.
Yeah.
And like I said, like if you don't, I guess, fall in love with that kid after listening to that.
It was cool. He got like his little spiel in at the beginning.
Yeah.
To do like to get like his heel character over.
Yeah.
But I was the one who asked him when I asked him to do the interview. I had seen it's very smart that he does most of his interviews in character. And then when we were walking into the locker room to meet up with you, I was like, "Hey man, you do me a favor. Like I know most of your interviews you do in character, but we like to keep it like conversation." And he got like a little weird about it at first.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and he was like, and then like he honestly, I mean, what he told me, he pretty much just did that for us, like out of respect.
Yeah.
Which was very cool. And I'm glad that I feel like we got a good interview out of him, just talking to him and keeping it conversation. Like,
And I mean, I don't necessarily think he gave anything away too much.
no.
But other workers, if you're listening to this, like,
when you
go
first
up to the
meet
kid
him.
and talk to him.
Yeah, he's, like a normal person. Like,
Yeah.
don't be a mark and think he's an asshole because
Yeah.
of his wrestling character.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
He's a great guy.
Actually, I really enjoyed sitting down and talking to him because
Yeah.
I met him in Orlando for a split second, and then I'd hung out with him at the after party thing the night before, and that was it.
Yeah.
So it was cool to talk with him.
And it's like I get so pumped up when kids starting something like this, like new, where they get to travel and see stuff.
Yeah.
Take advantage of all of it.
Yeah.
Instead of just like going to a hotel and just sitting in a hotel and doing like nothing.
You can tell, he's all about like getting his experience.
He just wants to eat it up.
take it all in.
It's cool as hell.
Yeah,
Hopefully he doesn't eat it all up.
That's it's so weird because that's like such a fine line. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like you definitely, yes, please, when you're traveling the world, see it and enjoy it.
Live
but
it.
at the same time, don't let that affect your performance, like as far as wrestling goes.
MJF, if you made it this far from listening to this, follow Matt Cross's lead.
Yeah,
and do life that way.
There you go. He's the
Yeah.
perfect example. Very, very good way to put it.
You don't have to do anything you don't want to do.
yeah,
But yeah,
enjoy yourself, but
Yeah.
in a safe way. Like I don't know, MJF is just he's the perfect example of what am I looking for here? Like, you just if you're following wrestling on Twitter and social media, like you just see his name all the time. He's getting himself out there everywhere. He just last night I watched I was fucking on my phone at 2 a.m. before I was falling asleep, and he cut a promo for Defy, and like he says he cut it in California, but it's like him in like a suit with like a scarf.
Yeah.
And he's at like a rock garden with like a nice pond and shit.
Very
and he's
cool.
like, says it's like one of his estates. He's like, I know what you're thinking. It's kind of small.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
I
man.
like
so much better than like, just a dude against a wall being like, I'm coming to Defy Wrestling January 30th. It's me versus. It was just cool to see.
I love that he called Blackwood out with a $10,000 bet.
I forgot about that.
Very cool.
It's super awesome.
Very cool. Bringing like that type of wrestling back is so cool.
And like Piper used to do it all the time too. He would like talk about like, I need to win this match because it's like $10,000 for me and my family. Like using actual numbers.
I would love for that match. I would love for MJF to show up with a briefcase with like
a dollar sign on it.
just 20s with like wads of like paper under it, but make it look like he's got $10,000.
Make it look legit.
Yeah. Really good.
Yeah, and
really
he calls
funny.
Blackwood Sharpie Arm, which is pretty funny too.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it. That was our interview with MJF. I hope you guys enjoyed
it as much as I did.
I know that this is an interesting new take that we're doing with doing the interviews on the side. But we can get more done this way. And
we hope you guys enjoy it. We're trying to get more guests, better guests, and hopefully we can get some while you're on the road. I'll come see you at Warped Tour. We'll get some more shit like this.
I would love to.
Yeah.
And I know like there's a bunch of dudes that probably will.
Yeah, it'd be great
too. So there you go, guys. Heat's in the ring, brother.